What's up, everybody? This is Gray here, and today we're going to basically show you how to fill a grow bag and save a ton of money. Because some people, when you first get into gardening, you kind of get overwhelmed on what to do, how to do it, and stuff like that. This is going to pertain particular to grow bags, but also to raised garden beds. Now, you guys may have seen techniques like this in raised garden beds, but you can also use this technique in grow bags, and it's going to save you a lot of money because soil is not cheap. So if you want to save money, watch this video because it's going to save you a lot of money on soil when filling your grow bags. And there's a few things we're going to be today. We're going to be transplanting a purple hall pea plant. I told you guys, I think on a live stream, I had some battles with some bugs and whatnot, but the plants are bouncing back. I used some neem oil. Things are looking good, and we're going to transplant this into a grow bag, and I'll kind of show you what I got going down here. Basically, I have some mulch. I have my grow bag with, you can see there's a bit of cardboard at the bottom so it retains moisture. And then over here, I have your soil that I've used from previous grow bags that I'm going to incorporate in this, because why throw away soil? You want to reuse soil. Even though the nutrients and stuff have been depleted, this is going to show you how to kind of replenish that soil and bring it back to life and save you, the viewer, money. So let's get into this. Okay, so there's going to be a few things that you need to build out this grow bag. So what I would suggest is, and everybody has different opinions on what you can use different types of mulch. Basically, I take a bunch of dry leaves and debris from the yard that's dried out. That's one key thing, is you want to make sure there's no green, it's all dried out, it's been broken down already, it's very, dry. Also, grab some sticks here and kind of show you what I'm doing here. I got some sticks. And basically with these, you want to make sure that they are absolutely dry. There's no green to them, because if you put something green in there, it's going to take away from the moisture from the plant, which is not beneficial to the plant. So you want to make sure that everything you use there is dry, decomposed, and whatnot. Of course, you might need a shovel, maybe a little trowel thing. At least that's what I call it. I call it the little mini rake. And of course, you're going to have some of the dirt that you used from possibly last year, or if you just have some crappy dirt that you want to recycle. All right, so, and of course, whatever plant that you're going to be transplanting. And sorry about the little shakiness. This table doesn't like to be super stable. Table stable. Anyways, so, and then you're going to need your plant that you're going to be transplanting. Again, we're doing the purple hall pea plant. So let's go from this camera down to the bottom camera, and let's see what we're doing. All right, so you can see down here, I have pieces of cardboard. I've kind of already pre-moistened it. And you can see down here in the bottom. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these sticks here, and I'm going to take some of these sticks and put them down here in the bottom, just to kind of layer that a little bit. Make sure, you don't want it, you can break it up a little bit and stuff like that. Now you can use bigger pieces, but I prefer smaller pieces, just because as this stuff starts to break down, it's just a lot faster, a lot more of a rapid process versus a raised garden bed. And then I'm going to take some of these leaves and stuff from the yard and kind of fill that in there. And then we're going to take some of our old dirt and pour that on top of that. Now we're probably going to go about halfway up. And like I said, this dirt is dirt from last year. The nutrients have been somewhat depleted. And the reason we're doing this is simple. All the nutrients that we have from the new soil and the fertilizer will work its way down as you water your plant, will work its way down into this section here. So as you build this out and you put your plant in, it's going to the nutrients from the topsoil, the really good stuff, is going to work itself down into this grow bag. All right, so we got that knocked out. Let's move on to the second process, which is over here. I have my good soil that I've mixed up. I got perlite, some chicken manure, your standard, I want to say potting soil, because potting soil works great in grow bags. Other people have different things, and I use a little bit of peat moss as well. Mix it in there and make my good soil. If I want to add some other nutrients in there, I'll do it at the time, depending on the plant that I'm growing. So that can differ depending on if you're growing, let's say, a bean that's nitrogen, that loves nitrogen, or a tomato, or what, some plants like more of acidic soils and things like that. So we kind of want to focus on what you're growing. That being said, we are going to take this plant out, and basically I don't want to make it too much of a mess here, but I'm going to take that plant a little bit upside down there. I'm going to break this little root ball up of this plant here, and then I'm going to set it inside this, and then we'll move from this camera back to the other camera so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. All right, so you can see here, I'm going to break this apart a little bit. There's the plant, kind of let it sit there, and then I'm going to take my good soil and fill this in all the way up to right about here. Okay, so here we go with the good stuff, and we're going to kind of fill this in. If you have your other soil next to you, you can kind of, use your little shovel or whatnot to fill it in. Basically, I'm going to be using this pot here because it's easier for me to use. It just works good to transplant soil from my wheelbarrow into this here, and then I kind of want to make sure that my plant's somewhat centered. At least I like to center the plants because what I'm going to do to the outside of it. All right, so I'm going to go get some more soil, and I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to continue to add soil to this plant here, the good stuff, as I call it, the good, rich, nutrient-rich soil, and then we're going to kind of push it down a little bit, let it sit. And like I said, I usually come about 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the top, because then we're going to top it off. It's almost like cooking, you know what I mean? You're going to add this and add that and layer it off with this, and then you're going to kind of finish it off with just a little bit. Basically, what I'm going to finish it off with is straw. Straw works better than hay, and you can get straw at Tractor Supply, or you can order straw online, wherever you can find straw. You want to make sure it's straw that doesn't have a bunch of pesticides or anything weird with it. You want as most natural possible, especially if you're going to be organic gardening and whatnot, and trying to stay away from all those pesticides and whatnot. All right, so what you can see here is now we have our plant that's nice sitting in here, and then we're going to go get our hay, and we're going to lay our hay in here. But before we're going to do that, we're going to go ahead and water this a little bit as well. And make sure you have enough room where if you're making a mess, it's not too much of a big deal. All right, so I'm going to use my little wand water hose here. And, this is what I like about the garden. As you see, filling this up with water. I like to not direct water it, but basically it's going to prevent the roots from getting too shocked in there, and just kind of make sure everything is nice in there. This is just the way I do my things. Everybody has their processes, and we're going to make sure everything is nice. Almost, to me, I like it like a spongy consistent, because then I know the ground itself is, or not the ground, but the soil itself is nice and situated. Basically that, you might want to rinse off your hands a little bit before you touch other stuff. You got dirt, manure, and all that stuff on your hands. But anyways, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our straw, and then we're going to kind of touch on that real quick and why I like to do that as well. Okay, so now that we have our straw, I'm going to go ahead and show you why I use the straw and how, like I said, there's always pros and cons to everything the way you grow. Grow bags work very well. They're very versatile. You can move things around depending if the sun is this way, or if you're, you want to kind of get the best angle for your plant. Also, if there's storms in your area, you can move them indoors, outdoors. There's just lots of benefits to having a grow bag. But you got to understand that you're going to need to water them a lot more regularly, especially if you're in zone 9B, like myself, where it gets really hot and humid and evaporates the water. Another thing is you want to protect that topsoil, because that topsoil, when the sun's beating on that topsoil, it's going to, of course, drain the moisture out of that soil, but it's also going to remove and burn off the nutrients of that soil. So you're going to want to use something like this. Some people will use pine needles, some people will use like straw, some people will use other types of mulch that's not chemically treated mulch, and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on here now and show you what I'm doing. As you can see here, I'm just going to take a liberal amount of this straw and kind of fill it in around the plant. And as you can see here, that's going to fit in there nicely. Kind of tuck everything in there, press this down, which now is going to protect my soil from getting, I call it sunburnt, but there's other terms for it. And then every once in a while you're going to want to replace this. You'll see as this starts to break down and and keep the moisture in, this straw will break down, and you'll of course want to add a little bit more as time progresses, as your plant grows. Anyways, to kind of follow up on this, What I also like to do is then I'll water it again, just to kind of moisten down that straw, or yeah, straw. I don't know why I get straw and hay mixed up. They're two different things, but you know how gray is sometimes. It's just the way it works. All right, back to the water wand, and I'm going to go ahead and water this down a little bit more. Kind of knock down that hay a little bit, as you can see here. And I can see that I've done a lot of watering on this, and it's starting to bleed out at the bottom of this thing, of this grow bag, not the thing, right? Anyways, that is going to be pretty much it when it comes to setting up your grow bag. To me, the easiest way to save money and to make sure your plant has the best opportunity to do as best as it possibly can, having those nutrients as you water your plant or add anything else to that, the good soil and all those nutrients are going to work themselves down into the bottom of the soil that doesn't have the nutrients in there and work its way into that, into its root system as it grows. And also that material, that matter that we have down there is going to be breaking down and also helps retain moisture along with the cardboard. So you can kind of see how I have a layer system set up there. I've learned this over time. Like I said, I've only been doing this for about a little over a year now, and I've just learned that some of these tricks work best for me to get the best results. If you like, I'll take you guys over here and show you some updates on the quick updates on the tomato plant, and also where I'm going to put this purple hall pea plant next to the one we had last year. As you can see behind me, I've also built a couple of what would you like to call them? I call them archways, but you know, the trellises and different names for them. But that's where I'm going to be stringing my cherry 100s and also my black cherry tomato plant on there. I just want a little bit of color, so I'll have the black cherry and the reds on the outside, and it'll look pretty once it gets all done. So let's cut from here and we'll go over there. Okay, so this is the update on the cherry 100s. They were just little babies, and of course you can see them growing relatively well, and they're working themselves up the trellis here and the little thing that I bought. And of course we're starting to get lots of little flowers and stuff in there. They're doing very well, and as you can see down here, I got my straw. This one needs to add some more. Sometimes the wind or it starts to break down, as with this as well. So those are, we have a cherry 100 here, a black cherry, I'm pretty sure that's what that one's called there, which is doing very well as well, and they're working themselves up this trellis here, and then the other cherry 100, and I'll be tying them to this trellis. Let me back up a little bit as they crawl up this trellis and go up around. And the goal is to have these tomatoes, as you can see, they're kind of popping through there, and all the tomatoes will be supported through this little trellis right here. All right, so here's our new plant. This is last year's purple hall pea plant, and as you can see, it died out for a while, but I'm not one to, you know, throw anything away, and it's starting to bloom again. It's starting to come back. So if these plants, unless they absolutely start dying, then we got a little bit of damage here in the leaves, which will take care of that. We'll prune it back, but we'll see how it does. We got some new growth there, so we'll kind of cut back that. Looks like we have some leaf miners and some other stuff on there. Who knows? Maybe it got some burnt from the rain or whatnot. Anyways, this is the one we transplanted today, and that's our goal. Is like I said, we had some issues with we'll call army worms, or what do they call them? Caterpillars. There we go. We're just going to go with that. Caterpillars, different types of caterpillars that was hurting this plant. And we got some neem oil. It's going through a little bit of shock right now, of course, because of transplanting. But we'll see how it does. I'll do an update and you guys will see what happens to that. So let me back this up here so you guys can kind of see that basically here we're going to have some rows of the purple hall peas on this side, and let them grow and drop their peas, and then we'll have the cherry 100 and black cherry tomatoes coming this way. And then I built another one back there, because basically back there we're going to have more tomato plants on this side of things, and then we're going to do zucchini and cucumbers on that side, and then I'm going to probably build one more maybe, or build I'm going to start adding some flowers to attract bees. I'm not going to do too much of a garden tour right now. A lot of these are some of our new plants in this row here that are growing. We got all different types of vegetables and herbs growing. And then, like I said, that was last year's row that I showed you guys before. And then we got stuff in the greenhouse. We got stuff back there. And we also have our experimental thing over here, which is the sweet potato. And in the middle there, hiding there, you saw a little lizard. And in the middle there, we have a strawberry plant. I have a strawberry plant here hanging out with the sweet potato and this little kind of thing here, just as an experimentation. And then we have, of course, we have in that yellow bucket over there, another strawberry plant. But I'll do a garden update down the road and show you our progress as things progress through the entire garden. All right, folks, so that kind of wraps up this video. Hopefully you got value out of this and found a way to save yourself some money, especially if you're container gardening or even if you're doing raised beds and whatnot. These tips can transcend into that same process with kind of like laying down the cardboard and some sort of organic material and then older soil that's not so good, or even sand. If you're in Florida, you could use sand substitute. If you don't have some old soil, you can use sand, and then put your good topsoil, your garden soil, your potting soil right on top. If you did get any value out of this, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're coming across this video and you haven't subscribed, please do so. That would be very appreciative. This channel is very diverse. We kind of cover all different types of topics, from basically gardening to long-term food storage, to different types of emergency preparedness. We talk about current events. We have live streams. We have all kinds of fun. It's an awesome community. We have a great Discord group. It's just a lot of fun. And the people in here are very full of information. You, the viewers, are full of information. We all learn from each other. That's what makes doing this such an awesome thing. Other than that, I want to say thank you all for joining me on this video. Hopefully you learned something. Truly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the rebound. This is GreyMan. I'm out. God bless.